One of the lies that the devil would love to influence upon us, and we tell ourselves, is what is most important is what others see me do. But the real truth is, what is most important is what I am becoming. And we really struggle with this. I really struggle with this. We struggle with being one person in the public arena, one person in the church arena, one person in the work arena, and then being a completely different person at home. Now, there are some reasons for that. Let me give you some real reasons why that does actually happen and it's not abnormal. Okay? My door to my office is shut right now with a sign on it that says, I'm recording, please don't interrupt. All right? I can put that same sign on every door in my household, and I just want to ask you a question. Do you think it'll work the same way that it works up here? Well, the answer to that is obviously no, it won't. They'll beat on the door. They don't care. They'll try to open the door. They don't care. I can be hands deep pulling a tire off of a car, changing the oil in the car, working, cutting something with a saw, and, you know, because we have an expectation as family that we can always interact, always ask, always get what it is that we desire in that moment. So, beginning to understand that there are irritants that only happen at home. Okay, that's number one. Number two, we have a false premise, a false expectation that the people who are at home with us can automatically see things from our point of view. Once again, that's unrealistic. That's not going to happen. You might be married 25, 45, 65 years. You are still going to look at certain situations, certain scenarios completely different from each other. But the expectation that we put on our family members is that they'll see it the same way. And that's unrealistic and it's not real. So it may be easier. We may find it a little easier for us to pay close attention when we're talking to somebody at work because we are accustomed to that conversation meaning something, having an extra layer of meaning, versus at home, we might be carrying on a conversation about how many more bags of potato chips we need to get. And all of a sudden slipped into that is, hey, I have a doctor's appointment on Friday, which, we heard it in the potato chip conversation and it just goes bye-bye. We didn't even notice it. So I say that to help us understand there's some real hurdles to cross. But I am going to say this, and if I say anything else, it is our responsibility to ensure that who we are at home is more important than who we are perceived to be in public. If the resurrection happened and Jesus came out of that grave, then life and death lives in every moment that we populate. In other words, whether or not I apologize to my kids, whether or not I pay attention to them, whether or not I get up out of my chair to handle a situation that they think is important that I don't think is important at all, life and death is in those moments. And I'm going to read to you a verse. It's in the book of 1 Timothy. And because I know this is a challenging thing for some of us. Some of us grew up really religious. Some of us grew up being taught that, the way the church perceives us or the way that somebody out in the crowd perceives us is the most important thing in the world. And we have absconded from treating our family with compassion, treating our family with care, treating our family with value. Okay. If I can tell you everybody in the church's favorite meal, but I can't tell you my wife's favorite meal, I have devalued my family. If I can tell you what score your kids got on a grade, and I can't tell you what score my kids got on a grade, I've devalued my family, and that's my responsibility to do it. 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8 says this: anyone who does not provide for their relatives, and especially for their own household, has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. Now, that's within the context of Paul writing to Timothy about how the church should be engaging with their widows and the responsibilities of the church to the widows, but also the family responsibility first. That same principle applies in our lives. Who we are, more important than being a Sunday school teacher, more important than being a VBS teacher and all those things. And church is not immune from assaulting the family and beating it down by saying, no, come do our function, come do our thing, come make us bigger, come make us greater. We'll do something together that you can't do with your family. And that is not the truth. And so I want to read to you a quote from page 116 in this book, how to have a better relationship with anybody. Many believers, suggestible to society's twisted values, include God in their fantasy. They believe that He, too, is not as concerned with how the family is treated as those apart from it. This belief often emerges in the name of ministry. You see, in some people's minds, witnessing, raising money for missions, and serving on church boards are deemed more important than giving oneself to the family. But that is nonsense. Out of all the things Mr. Hilt has said, that one rings the closest to home for me. And I hope it does for you. Because God has called us within our families. He has blessed us with whatever circumstances we have, whatever situations that we have. That's what we're called to live into. So begin at home. Allow God to be at work in your life, in your family relationships, and then live that out as He gives you opportunity. God bless you all. I'll see you next time.